have to believe what they believe. They're giving the women a major chance to speak. Now, it's possible I'll hear that and I'll say, hey, I'm changing my mind. What they've done to this man is incredible.
Now at 11, we're just hours away from a critical day that could shape the future of the U.S. Supreme Court. Nominee Brett Kavanaugh and his first accuser about to testify on Capitol Hill. Yet, as President Trump continues to adamantly defend his nominee, he also says what happens tomorrow could quickly change his mind.
And developing tonight, Judge Kavanaugh has been questioned about 2 new claims of sexual assault. These would be accusation numbers 4 and 5. CBS News has confirmed investigators with the Senate Judiciary Committee asked Kavanaugh about both of them and that he denied both of them. One is from an anonymous letter sent to a senator. The writer says her daughter socialized occasionally with Kavanaugh and that in 1998, Kavanaugh assaulted his date outside a bar.
The other claim was made to a different senator. A man claims his friend was assaulted in Rhode Island in 1985. He says he went to the scene of the alleged assault and physically confronted 2 men. One of them was Brett Kavanaugh. The claims coming just hours after accuser number 3 came forward and President Trump answered questions about his Supreme Court pick.
What they've done to this man is incredible.
After siding with his Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh over his accuser Christine Blasey Ford, President Trump showed a more open mind about tomorrow's testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
I can always be convinced. I have to hear it.
There is a situation, there is a scenario under which you would withdraw Brett Kavanaugh's nomination.
If I thought he was guilty of something like this, yeah, sure.
The 21 senators on the committee will get 5 minutes each to question Blasey Ford and another 5 for Kavanaugh. Republicans plan to cede most of their time to Arizona prosecutor and sex crimes expert Rachel Mitchell, who they've hired for the hearing. Blasey Ford's lawyers released photos today of her undergoing a polygraph test in August. A former FBI agent found her responses about sexual abuse were not indicative of deception. But Kavanaugh denies the claims by Blasey Ford and from Yale classmate Deborah Ramirez. Julie Swetnick, who knew Kavanaugh in high school, alleges he would drink excessively and engage in abusive and physically aggressive behavior towards girls, and that Kavanaugh was involved in efforts to spike drinks at parties and then have sex with girls who had lost their ability to say no. She claims she was the victim of one of these gang or train rapes and that Kavanaugh was present.
I've never sexually assaulted anyone, not in high school, not ever.
One day after speaking to Fox News, Kavanaugh called the latest accusations ridiculous and from the Twilight Zone. Democrats want Kavanaugh's nomination pulled, to which the president says,
they're obstructionists, and they know it's a big, fat con job. And they go into a room, and I guarantee you, they laugh like hell.
Well, tonight, reporters Mark Caputo and Natasha Koricki of Politico have uncovered a South Florida connection to the third accuser, Julie Swetnick. According to them, her former boyfriend took out a restraining order against her in Miami-Dade County. It was filed in March of 2001. The case was dismissed 13 days later. We found the documents, although they're heavily redacted and the specific accusations are not available. However, Richard Venecci told Politico he got the restraining order because Swetnick threatened to harm him, his new wife, and their baby. Venecci told Politico Swetnick is not credible, but that he plans to speak to an attorney before commenting further.
And tonight we have the prepared statements that Judge Kavanaugh and Dr. Ford will read to the committee tomorrow. Kavanaugh's is 2 pages long. He says in part, quote, "What I've been accused of is far more serious than juvenile behavior. I never did anything remotely resembling what Dr. Ford describes. The allegation of misconduct is completely inconsistent with the rest of my life. The record of my life, from my days in grade school through the present day, shows that I have always promoted the equality and dignity of women," end quote. Dr. Ford has prepared a much longer statement that goes into graphic detail. In part, she will tell the committee of Kavanaugh, quote, "I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from screaming. This is what terrified me the most and has had the most lasting impact on my life. It was hard for me to breathe, and I thought that Brett was accidentally going to kill me," end quote. Our live coverage of tomorrow's hearing for Judge Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford begins at 4:30 with CBS 4 this morning. That's followed by a special 3-hour edition of CBS This Morning, and then we'll have gavel-to-gavel coverage of the hearing starting at 10.